What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Open Slate. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. My name is Adil for those of you all who are new. And this week's episode is inspired by one quote that caused so much of havoc and chaos in the American sports world, I guess, mainly among NBA players and NBA fans. But I found this to be super funny, so let's get into this episode. Alright, so for context, what happened was there was this US track and field athlete called Noah Lyles who won 3 gold medals for the US in the World Championship. And he was sitting at a press conference, and I don't remember what the question was that was like addressed to him, but his response made rounds around the internet, and he got flamed pretty bad by both NBA players as well as their fans. And here's what the quote was. So he said, the thing that hurts me the most is I have to watch the NBA finals and they have world champion on their head. World champion of what? The United States? Don't get me wrong, I love the US at times, but this isn't the world. And this doesn't just apply to sports. A lot of people would agree when I say Americans in general have like this complex in fields that they dominate in. It's just a thing they don't see outside of the US. Like, I don't know, they don't consider countries outside the US as part of their world. Examples are like Hollywood or any field of technology that they are, superpowers in. They don't consider things outside of US and Canada to be a part of their world. A lot of them have no clue about what's happening outside of the US. Some of them don't know what's happening inside the country, but okay, we can let that part slide. But I just thought of this and thought of like relevant examples, right? So basketball was founded in the US, in what, Springfield, Massachusetts, yeah. And I understand basketball, like, I don't disagree. I completely agree with the fact that they have the best players in the world. So that league, the talent in that league is unmatched. They're just levels above any other basketball league in the world, right? Because they have athletes from different countries, different parts of the world playing in that league. But I don't think that still gives you the right to call yourself a world champion. Because just say, okay, the Premier League, the English Premier League, the football league, right? Manchester City won the title last year, and they have players from all over the world. But when they won the title, even though the Premier League is by far the best football league in the world, I'd say it's arguably the best, and they have talent from everywhere. And football was founded in England, and they are the top tier league in England. They still don't call themselves the champions of the world. They are referred to as the champions of England. They're referred to as the Premier League champions. And if you want to take this up a notch, if you want to go from country to continent, the UEFA Champions League is a league that consists of all the best teams in Europe. And Europe by far has the most talented pool of football players. If you look at like the top leagues in the world, at least the top 3 or top 5 are all European teams, or sorry, European leagues. And even the winners of the Champions League are not called the world champions, they're still called champions of Europe. Like when Messi won the World Cup with Argentina, that time they said, okay, they are champions of the world. And that makes sense because teams, like countries all across the world, compete to, you know, make it to the World Cup, and then after that they go head to head or whatever. They lose, they're out, they win, they advance, whatever, right? So there you can make a claim to say that you are a world champion because everyone in the world are allowed to participate, just that the best teams end up winning. But the NBA is national, it says National Basketball Association, and the nation in question is the US. And 29 out of 30 teams in the NBA are from, American cities. They're American teams. And one team that is outside of the NBA, outside of America is a Canadian team called the Toronto Raptors, who happen to be their neighbors. So again, I don't see inclusivity. Is that a word? I don't see other countries having, you know, permission to kind of take part in the league. And obviously, it wouldn't make sense. But what I'm trying to get at is it's just restricted to America and Canada, which happen to be neighboring countries, like I said. So I don't see why they can call themselves world champions. Like another example is cricket, right? Cricket was made by the Britishers. It's a British sport, and obviously it's like spread across the world. Like, you know, everyone around the world play or watch cricket. They know what cricket is, and the IPL is probably the top, the best league in terms of domestic cricket. And even there are, you know, players from all across the world playing, and they are like the best players who play in the IPL. But you don't see CSK calling themselves the champions of the world. They're again called the champions of the IPL. They are called the champions of India because the teams that are in the IPL are just restricted to being Indian teams because it is the Indian Premier League. And it doesn't make sense, and it shows how, you know, especially looking at the reactions of Americans and NBA players, it shows how they are, it's not unaware, but they just think that everything that happens in the, what do you say, in the world doesn't really matter to them, and it's just what's happening within their country that matters. And I find that to be like, I don't get the word that I can use to describe them, but you guys know what that means. And it's funny. And again, Noah Lyles, who put his opinion out there, got too much, came under too much of fire, too much of heat for just putting his opinion out there. And this is what I don't like about the internet and what the internet has become. If you don't have an opinion that matches the majority of people, or that doesn't, you know, kind of line up with others' opinion, you are the bad person. And a lot of people talk about freedom of speech until it is not applicable for someone else because their views are different compared to yours. And yeah, it's just funny. I just found it to be super funny because you don't have people anywhere else in the world making a scene for something this stupid. It was just his opinion. He chose to put it out there and caught a lot of heat for it. And even NBA players, I understand that they work hard to make a living. They're like on the road the whole time. They sacrifice a lot, but come on. I get that you go up against the best competition in the world, but when you are flying across one or two countries to, you know, compete, I don't count that as a world sport. So yeah, that is just a thought that I had. And I think I'm going to wrap up on that note. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. um Thank you guys for all the love. I'm going to say this at the end of every episode. Thank you guys for all the love and support that you have shown on the previous episodes. Thank you guys so much for helping me grow this podcast, the channel that's on YouTube, as well as helping me build an audience on Spotify. And yeah, that is going to be it for this week's episode. My name is Adil. This is the Open Slate, and until next time.